Hello friends, this is the greatest fighting game you've never played. I'm Retro Remy, and I'm here today to bring you a truly hidden gem, a diamond if you will, that has been buried under the rubble and rot of history and fate. But if you love fighting games the way I love fighting games, then you owe it to yourself to play this one. Then you must bring it to your local FGC, because this is an absolutely peak poverty fighting game. It has that certain je ne sais quoi that makes a good fighting game truly unforgettable. Astra Superstars for the Sega Saturn. Astra Superstars isn't a good game. It is an absolutely phenomenal fighter that has no right to be as charming, deep, and addictive as it actually is. Until I began collecting every ISO for the Saturn I could get my grubby little mitts on, this was one I had never heard of, but soon fell in love with after booting it up. The gorgeous anime art was illustrated and designed by Santa Claus, and truly a gift it is. The game was developed and published by Sunsoft in June of 1998. It is Sunsoft's fourth fighting game after the 1994 Super Famicom Habariki franchise spin-off, Sugoi Habariki, which appears to be a strange top-down cartoon penguin fighting simulator, the 1995 banger Galaxy Fight Universal Warriors, and the delightfully insane 1996 Waku Waku 7. It is powered by the Sega Saturn-based STV-V Sega Titan Video Arcade System, which was the arcade board big brother to the Sega Saturn, and why this game is a Saturn exclusive. What is even crazier is that this game looks and plays the way it does without even using the extended RAM card. I have no idea how the wizards at Sunsoft did this, but it makes playing a burned copy much easier. But enough background. You have heard me vomit hyperbole at you, but why is this game actually worth playing? Simply put, the gameplay is like no fighting game I've ever played, and is a combination of some of the best fighters ever, and adds its own unique twist on the whole thing. The first and most obvious thing is there is no floor in this fighting game. That's right, you are completely airborne the entire time, kind of like one of those horrible Dragon Ball Z fighting games from back in the day, but unlike those games, the air combat system really works like a dream here. You can go up or down to avoid attacks, and it makes controlling the screen far more difficult and, frankly, more interesting. The other thing that makes this game unique is that it controls like if Smash Bros. And Marvel vs. Capcom had a beautiful anime child together. This is a 6-button game, but unlike most games where the top row would be punches and the bottom kicks, this does things differently. Each button is essentially a special move, and reminds me very much of the B moves from Smash Bros. So your light attacks are how you will be scoring a lot of your combos, but then instead of doing a complicated motion, you just hit X and BAM! Special move. The way you do the incredibly flashy supers is also intuitive. You just hold down X and A, or Y and B, or Z and C, and then BAM! Super. In a lesser game, these controls might make it feel easy and sort of watered down, but here it feels like it just allows you to speed up the action to light speed. The other reason this game is so great is because it is mechanically deep and shockingly advanced from a game from 1998. This game is as mechanically rich as any Capcom or SNK fighter from the era, and then some. For instance, everybody has an install super that works to enable custom combos, a la the Street Fighter Alpha series. You can also counter out of block stun, again like the Alpha games. But you can also switch sides on your opponent by holding forward and C. So you have both a way out of the corner and a way to put your opponent right into it. Not only that, but the game has push blocking, something that is a hallmark of the Marvel vs. Capcom series. If someone tries to cheese you with their giant super beam, push block, and then you can let loose your own gigantic wave of terror. Plus, the game has constantly regenerating gray health, which gives you the same feel as a Darkstalkers game, constantly trying to rush down your opponents so they don't get the gobs of gray health back. This game even has a mechanic where if someone gets beaten fast enough, they will get stunned instead of die, and then you'll need to finish them off before they recover and gain back about a quarter of their life. Also, the words that flash when you do finish someone off, "Doctor, stop!" are hilarious. But this game oozes so much charm, it's even baked into the mechanics, like after a guard break. And yes, this game has guard breaks. Certain attacks can knock your opponent around the screen like a pinball. This brings me just so much. I haven't even mentioned the most wild and interesting mechanic of all, the rank system. I have never seen anything like this in a fighting game before. As you play, you will rank up or down. You rank up when you make contact with your opponent. You rank down when you run away. Ranking up has two uses. The first is that it improves your damage and life recovery speed. So if you want to just melt your opponent's life bar away with giant supers, you sure as hell can. Other reason is when a match goes to timeout, it doesn't go by life like every other fighting game. It goes by rank. Whoever has the higher rank will win regardless of the life totals. This is one of the most interesting mechanics I've ever seen in a fighting game, and truly no other game I've played has anything like it. It's also a comeback mechanic that feels fair. Unlike most games where your comeback mechanic is incumbent upon getting your ass kicked, in this game, if you're low on life and time, go balls to the wall and be aggressive as possible. You can still win off that pixel of health. Never give up. Never surrender. Anyway, so what are your options to play this lost masterpiece? Well, like I said, this was a Sega Saturn exclusive, and a Japanese one at that. So if you want to play this game on a legit disc and hardware, it is going to run you at least $500 dues for just the game. However, Saturn emulation is at a point where it's pretty much perfect. The footage you see has mostly been captured from original hardware, with a sprinkle of emulation thrown in. The music you're hearing is also from the game, and I feel like it fits it like a glove. I did play this on original hardware via a burned disc, and in my opinion, this is the optimal way to play with friends. So run, don't walk, down to your local emulator site and pick this one up.